In terms of, I know my big brother, the Honorable Minister of Budget, is very well conversant with the PFI 1.0, which is the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative that was established way back in 2015, 2016. Um, and we are at a point where we are now handling the PFI 3.0, not we as ministry, but the government. Um, Over time, yes, the import was to liberalize the fertilizer industry. And that's why, even within the last administration, we saw the rise of blending plants from about 4 or 5 in just a matter of few years to about 90 today. Fertilizer, the most used fertilizer is NPK, out of which the component of FK, there are four main components of NPK. One is phosphate, one is potash, one is urea, and the other one is a filler. Potash and phosphates are imported. These are the main components of fertilizer are imported. Urea is what has been mentioned, that the Honorable Minister of State Gas is supposed to get in touch with the three main manufacturers of urea, which is Dangote, Indorama, and Notore, because urea is made out of gas. It's 95% gas, natural gas that we have here available in the country. So, and there was an agreement that they should supply 30% because the prices of gas that were given to these companies are at a concessionary price. So they should supply 30% local to satisfy local demand. So, of course, you would see the imbalance in terms of structural issues in terms of imports and logistics. And you also recall, for the first time in 12 years, in this country, Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu last year gave out 2,150,000 bags of fertilizer free of charge to farmers. Yeah, there are questions sometimes people will say, and the half of it were even given to states. And some may say, I have not received it, but it went to the market. It went to the farmers. It went to the soil. Fertilizer cannot be eaten or cannot be done anything else but to grow. And you also agree with me that last year we had a net positive harvest, which meant we had a positive harvest of much more than any other previous years in the last 5 years, what we had. And that's one of the reasons why prices are crashing and also are stabilizing. So the question here is whether the intended policies of Mr. President, amongst other mixed strategies to bring down prices of food, yes, we could see the trajectory, we could see where we're heading to. It was much more lower than even 2023, even 2024 December. And for the first time, you would also agree with me, even look at the tomato lean season. The lean season on tomato, May and June, prices have not gone up. Prices have stabilized. So what we're saying here is that when you look at the trajectory, I think we should give kudos to Mr. President and commend the actions and the strategies that Mr. President had developed. Yes, there are security issues, but you also we know that we have on the armed forces have unlocked a lot of potential areas, Birnin Gwari axis, in fact, a lot of places, even in Katsina, Funtua area, and so on and so forth. Excellency Borno State can testify. We have not seen the kind of harvest we saw last year in a very long time. So what we see is the unlocking of a lot of agricultural lands due to security efforts. The prices of fertilizer, when you say they're exorbitant, when you look at in real terms, not in nominal terms, yes, we know, and I keep saying at all times, we are at a point where Mr. President we have to balance the welfare of the citizens in terms of lower food prices as against the welfare of the farmers, and so as not to discourage farmers because of high prices of inputs like fertilizer and and also the solar pumps that we're talking about, because for dry season farming, irrigation is an input. So that is one way of the liberalization. I don't want to go further until the concept of the liberalization is completely out, but there's a move to liberalize the market of the fertilizer. You had mentioned, I think Steve from Punch, about the tractors. We have basically 4 mechanization programs: the Belarus 2000 tractors, the John Deere 2000, the Green Imperative program with Brazil, and the Greener Hope mechanization program. So the Belarus tractors all completed, everything is on ground. And when it was commissioned a couple of months ago, land preparation had already passed. So it's now that we're going to face the dry season that the distribution will take place. The John Deere has not been initiated yet, but it's in the works. The Green Imperative with the Brazil, you are aware that it's on the table of discussion at all the 3 times Mr. President had been to Brazil, and it's in the final stages of, we have signed the MOUs and the agreements. So affordability of solar pumps. Of course, solar pumps, although technology of solar panels is constantly coming down and prices are also coming down, but the initial cost is high. But you could just imagine if, for instance, part of the memo and presentation His Excellency the Governor of Jigawa State had presented today to Council, is that for you to even service 1 hectare, to irrigate 1 hectare of wheat farm, you would spend over 500,000 naira in petrol cost. That is an added cost to the cost of production. So, but once you see, when you have a solar-driven, battery-backed, solar-driven water pump, over a period of time, costs would now reduce. And also, these pumps are also, climate, yes, they're climate change compliance, and they derive carbon credit on that. So over a period of time, you derive carbon credit, and which will further reduce the cost of operation and cost of those solar pumps. So this is I think, but what we are looking at far exceeds the production capacity of Naseni, and that's why it is this council had mandated the Honorable Minister of Budget to come up with modalities and see how we can fund Naseni. And then it's a joint collaboration between the subnationals and the federal government. So, but at the end of the day, it's going to be to the benefit of our active and hardworking farmers across the country.